Okay, so you all have a packet that says Unit 2 on it. This is going to talk, Unit 2 is about the slope of lines. We're going to talk about parallel lines. So we need to do a refresher from algebra. So today's lesson should be an algebra refresher, all right? So this should look familiar to you, hopefully, okay? So if we are looking at the slope, remember the slope of the line is like the slanted part of the line, whether it slants or not, okay? So if you look at this first box, this is a slope that has this is a line that has a positive slope. Okay, so this is a positive slope. It's going up. And so this next one is what kind of slope? Good, a negative slope. It's going down. If you had Mr. Edward, he makes you do stuff with your arms, some crazy dance moves kind of a thing. I don't know if any of you had Mr. Edward. Positive, negative slope. Okay, a straight line straight across this is a horizontal line, has a zero slope, which is 0. So it has a slope of 0. So the slope does exist, but the value of it is 0. Okay. Then, do you guys remember a vertical line? Undefined, which is different. The slope is 0 if you get 0 in the numerator. The slope is undefined if you get 0 in the denominator. We'll work on a couple of those. You are not allowed to leave it as 0 over something. You have to tell me that it's actually just 0, because 0 divided by anything is just 0. Okay? And with the undefined slope, you can't divide by 0, so you can't leave your problem like that. You have to tell me that it's undefined. Okay? All right. So given a graph, we can use rise over run. So given a graph, we can use rise over run to find the slope. That's going to be your word there, rise over run. So in that little box it says, given a graph, use, and you're going to write rise over run. So if we look at this first example, we're going to start on point A, and we're going to rise. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we went up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We went up 4. And we went to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Goes on the bottom. What letter do we use to represent slope? Not X and Y. M. M is used to represent slope, so you want to make sure that you say that M equals 4 over 5. Okay, what about number 2? If we start at P, and I go down, 1, 2, 3, so I went down 3, so that's going to be a negative 3. And then I went over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Negative 3 over 6. Can I reduce negative 3 over 6? Not negative 2. Negative 1/2, right? When you have a fraction and you can reduce, you should always reduce. What about the slope of number 3? You guys see your line right there? Your vertical line? So the slope, we don't even have to count anything. We just know that the slope is undefined, and you're going to write undefined. And what about number 4? What is the slope there? It's a straight horizontal line, so M is equal to 0. Good. All right, let's look at number 5. It says when you have ordered pairs, we can use this formula. Y equals mx plus b gives you the equation of a line, but we're not even to the equation yet. We're just trying to find the slope. y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. You maybe saw it as y2 first and then x2 first. You're going to get the exact same answer, and I prefer to put the ones first so you're not hopping over and coming back, hopping over and coming back and mixing up signs. It's just easier to start with the ones and go to the twos. Okay? So find the slope of AB. So I'm going to label this x1, y1, x2, y2. Because it's a subtraction problem, we have to make sure we're really careful with our negative signs, okay? So I'm going to put my m, which represents slope, and I'm going to put AB. You guys see that? I'm labeling my slope. This means slope of AB. Y's always go on top. So I have 5 minus a negative 1. It's always subtraction. Be really careful there. Over negative 2 minus 6. Minus a negative really means what? Plus, plus, right? So 5 plus 1. And if you like to do the keep, change, or whatever, negative 2 minus 6 is a negative 8. Does it really matter whether the negative goes on the top or on the bottom? It does not. Because if you did the y2's first and then the x2's, you would get negative 6 over a positive 8. It means the same thing, okay? But should we reduce this fraction? Okay, so negative 3/4. So the slope of AB is negative 3/4. Okay, I'd like to go down and do number 7. So we're going to do the slope of xy. Go ahead and find the slope of xy. We're doing number 7. We're skipping 6. So I'm getting negative 6 over 0. Is that what you guys are getting? Okay. But I don't leave it like that. I have to change it to say whenever we get 0 in the denominator, I know that this is really undefined, and I have to write that. Undefined. Okay, anybody have any questions about that part? Okay, let's go to the next page. This should be algebra review. Okay, we're not going to do 1, 2, and 3 because that, oh my gosh. You should be here. Is this where you guys are? Okay. So this is topic 2.1, slopes of lines. Topic 2.1, slopes of lines. Okay, parallel lines have the, what kind of slope? Do you guys remember? Same, good. Parallel lines have the same slope. Perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal. Opposite means the sign. Reciprocal means you flip it. The opposite reciprocal. Some people say negative reciprocal means the same thing. So if two lines are perpendicular, it's the opposite reciprocal. If they are parallel, they have the same slope. Here's your symbols for parallel and perpendicular. Parallel is two lines. Boy, that's original. And perpendicular, we've talked about already a little bit, is an upside down T. Okay, those are your symbols for parallel and perpendicular. So if we just do really quickly some examples of negative reciprocals or opposite reciprocals. If I give you 3/4, the negative reciprocal or the opposite reciprocal would be what? Anyone? Chris? Negative, so we change the sign and we flip the fraction. Negative 4/3. those two slopes would be perpendicular. Okay? Number 2, what if you have just the whole number 2? Katie? Negative, so we change the sign, and 1/2. Where did that 1 come from, guys? Good, Shane. 2 is really over 1, right? You can always write it like that. What about negative 7/8? What would be the opposite reciprocal here? Donald? The other one's not here today, it's just you. What's the opposite reciprocal of negative 7/8? You're going to change the sign so it becomes positive, and then reciprocal means to flip it. Good. 8/7. Okay, what about number 4, Shane?
-1.
Just -1. Could you put over 1? It doesn't really matter, right? It's going to be the same thing. Okay, and Lexi, number 5. What's the opposite reciprocal of 0? Oh, she didn't get tricked. It's undefined, right? Because 0, the opposite reciprocal is going to be this way, which means it would be undefined. Way to go. Okay, it says in example 1, use the slope to determine if the lines AB and CD are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So we need to find both slopes, okay? So if we're going to find both slopes, we're going to make sure that we label our paper correctly and obvious so that we can see what's going on. So let's go ahead and find the slope of AB. So we're going to use little m, AB. Some of you are going to need to write small. So we're going to use, again, our y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. That gives me -3 over -4. What's negative over negative? Positive. So over here in this box, the slope of AB is 3/4. Okay, then I want to find the slope of CD. Go ahead and find the slope of CD. So I have 0 minus 3 over -1 minus 3. -3 over -4. What's negative over a negative? So these slopes are what? They're the same, so the two lines are parallel. So this is what I want you to do. We're talking about line AB, and we're talking about line CD, and I know that they are parallel. So you're going to tell me that line AB is parallel to line CD. That's what that means. Okay, let's try number 2. Do the exact same thing. Try number 2. I'm guessing positive 2/5 for AB. Are you guys getting positive 2/5? Because a negative over negative is a positive, right? Okay. And then I got negative 5/2, Shelly? Did you get negative 5/2?
Yeah.
Okay, so what kind are they, Shelly? Okay, you see how they're opposite reciprocals of each other? We have 2/5 and negative 5/2. So we're going to write our statement that AB, line AB, is perpendicular to line CD. Okay, perpendicular to line CD. Questions about that one? Okay, let's skip down and let's do example 4. Let's do example 4. Once you get finished, I want you to check with your neighbor and see if you get the same thing. A, B, and C, D. Yep. Do the whole thing and then check with your neighbor. Make sure you guys got the same thing. Okay, so, Kara, what did you get for the slope of AB?
I got
Negative 2/3. Good. Ben, what did you get for the slope of CD? 1/4. Anybody else agree?
Yeah.
Okay, so are these lines parallel or perpendicular? No, they're neither. So you're just going to write the word neither. There is no special symbol for neither. You're just going to write the word neither. Okay?